Okay, so I'll start here then, yeah? Cultural Diversity and Cultural Differences by Homi K. Bhabha, page 206. The revision of the history of critical theory rests on the notion of cultural differences, not cultural diversity. Through the concept of cultural difference, I want to draw attention to the common ground and lost territory of contemporary critical debates. For they all recognize that the problem of the cultural emerges only at the significatory boundaries of cultures, where meaning and values are misread or signs are misappropriated. The time of liberation is, as Fanon powerfully evokes, a time of cultural uncertainty and, most crucially, of significatory and representational undecidability. Page 207. This demands that we rethink our perspective on the identity of culture. Here, Fanon's passage, somewhat reinterpreted, may be helpful. What is implied by his juxtaposition of the constant national principles with his view of culture as political struggle, which he so enigmatically and beautifully describes as the zone of occult instability where people dwell. These ideas not only help to explain the nature of colonial struggle, they also suggest a possible critique of the positive aesthetic and political values we ascribe to the unity or totality of cultures, especially those that have known long and tyrannical histories of domination and misrecognition. Cultures are never unitary in themselves, nor simply dualistic in relation of self to other. This is not because of some humanistic nostrum, that beyond individual cultures we all belong to the human culture of mankind, nor is it because of an ethical relativism that suggests that in our cultural capacity to speak of and judge others, we necessarily place ourselves in their position. The pact of interpretation is never simply an act of communication between the I and the you designated in the statement. Production of meaning requires that these two places be mobilized in the passage through a third space, which represents both the general conditions of language and the specific implication of the utterance in a performative and institutional strategy of which it cannot in itself be conscious. The intervention of the third space, which makes the structure of meaning and reference an ambivalent process, destroys this mirror of representation in which cultural knowledge is continuously revealed as an integrated, open, expanding code. Such an intervention quite properly challenges our sense of the historical identity of culture as a homogenizing, unifying force, authenticated by the originary past, kept alive in the national tradition of the people. It is that third space, though unrepresentable in itself, which constitutes the discursive conditions of enunciation that ensure that the meaning and symbols of culture have no primordial unity or fixity, that even the same signs can be appropriated, translated, rehistoricized, and read anew, and with a willingness to descend into that void, wherein, as it were, one may begin to come into confrontation with a spectre of invocation whose freedom to participate in an alien territory and wilderness has become a necessity for one's reason or salvation. It is in this space that we will find those words with which we can speak of ourselves and others. And by exploring this hybridity, this third space, we may elude the politics of polarity and emerge as the others of ourselves.